Well, good Monday morning to you. Hope you have a great weekend and welcome to our new day and, well, same time. New day, though, for Healthy Living South Mississippi.
Yeah,
Live healthy,
right.
be healthy. Drs. Jim and Janine Fox with Doctors Nutrition are with us again this morning, and welcome them to the show. We've moved our live show to Mondays, and it will be rebroadcast. This show will be rebroadcast on Fridays at 9 a.m. So anyway, hope everybody had a great weekend. The weather started changing and looking nice.
Yeah, we're ready for some sunshine.
Amen to that. 896-0713, 800-349-0713 are our phone lines. If you have a question, we'll be happy to put you on the air, or we can just, if you feel shy about being heard on the air, then we'll just have Jersey Sam take your question. But our subject today is fatigue.
Yes.
And, you know, fatigue can come from a huge gamut of things. Sleep apnea, not enough sleep, period, not enough fuel, or, take it in.
Wrong kind of fuel.
Exactly, wrong kind of fuel. Anemia, depression, hypothyroidism. Caffeine overload, diabetes, dehydration,
adrenal issues.
There's so many
things.
It's kind of a real vague presentation, because when you talk about fatigue, well, gosh, what could it be? Any of those things that you just mentioned.
Exactly.
And then another
others.
list. Yeah.
And there's physical fatigue, there's mental fatigue.
Right, there's both. And one of the reasons we decided to do the show is that that's probably the symptom we hear the most. When people come in and you say, okay, what's your main complaint? And they say, I'm tired all the time.
Right.
Yes, I mean, that is probably the number one complaint that we hear. So we decided to talk more about it and talk about the importance of doing lab work to find out why. Because you have to find out the underlying cause.
Right.
Everybody wants to just take something for energy. You don't know how many people come in and they say, I just need an energy pill. Well, just doing an energy pill isn't going to work if you don't find.
They take them little bottle things.
Yeah.
You know, you see how many of those things they sell?
A
It's in
lot.
the millions
Yeah.
and millions.
I tried one time, didn't do a thing for me.
Really?
Well, if it doesn't help you, if you have an underlying problem that's causing the fatigue, it's not going to help. Because it's just kind of like some stimulants. And I always say, that's pretty much
Drink
just the
cup of coffee.
Yeah, a cup of coffee will do it. So that's kind of what we always tell people is you have to find out the underlying problem.
Right.
And even the other day I had somebody come in and they're like, I've just had some lab work done. Everything's fine, but I'm really tired. And then I start questioning her. Oh, I was anemic on my lab work. And I said, well, there's your problem. And she was like, well, it couldn't be that big of a deal. I was like, yes, it is. So I hear that a lot because a lot of people don't like taking iron, because the iron in some people hurt their stomach and make them constipated and a lot of other problems. So we have iron that is not constipating. So that is an easy thing to fix.
Yeah, if it's anemia.
If it is an iron deficiency anemia, that's a simple one, but you have to take iron.
Or even if it's one of the pernicious anemias, like B12.
B12,
something like that. That's easy to fix. But you
But
got to find out what it is.
But you got to know what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know if it's a B12 problem, if it's an iron problem, if it's a vitamin D deficiency.
An adrenal issue, a thyroid issue.
Low potassium makes you tired. A lot of people don't realize that. We have so many people coming in that's on diuretics, and their potassium's low, and they're so tired. And when we get the potassium up, they feel fine again. So there's so many issues that are simple if you just know what the underlying problem is.
And that's why one of the good things you need to go and get the blood work done to find out what it is. And if you just go to, your regular physician and say, well, I need some blood work. Well, what's the problem? Or they're going to treat a symptom instead of
Right.
And whereas the blood work that Doctors Nutrition does, it covers so many different panels. I mean, they have different panels that are provided for you to find out exactly what the problem could possibly be. And then, the worst thing that you can do is run to your big box store and say, well, they said I need some B12 or whatever, because we've talked about this and we've beat this horse to death. The fact that, there are so many fillers and things in the supplements that you buy at your big box store that probably 10% of what's in the bottle is what you need, whereas you need a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, exactly. We do something, Jim, our approach to it is what we call functional medicine. In other words, fatigue it's a symptom. It's not the diagnosis. And that's one of the things that sometimes we see a lot. Patient goes in and complaining of fatigue, and they'll write them, oh, it's depression, we'll give you an antidepressant. That's really missing the boat. Because it's not taking an effect of what's causing it. In other words, that's what it is. It's fatigue, but why?
Right, and even like low iron that I just mentioned, yes, it makes fatigue, and yes, it causes depression. So you may be depressed, but if it's an iron deficiency, what you want to do is you want to take iron. You know, you want to fix the
fix what's
underlying
wrong.
problem, because
Right.
taking
Exactly.
something
Fix
for the
what's wrong.
symptom is not going to help the underlying problem. And iron is so important if you need it. It is not helpful if you don't need it. So we always tell people don't just go take iron.
No, it can
because
actually be bad
iron
if
can
you
be
need
bad for you if you don't need it.
Okay.
So that's why it's so important to do the lab work to see.
Well, we have a caller on the line. Good morning. Who is this?
Hi, this is Fred.
Hey,
Yes.
Fred.
I have a question about some symptoms of nausea,
Okay.
lightheadedness, dizziness, and shortness of breath.
Shortness of
Shortness
breath?
of breath, that's not a good one.
Sometimes it feels like pain in the bottom of the stomach before the shortness of breath comes.
How long has this been going on, Fred?
Probably about 8 months.
All right. Have you been to the doctor and get them to check you out?
That's a problem. I don't have a doctor here in Mississippi.
Okay.
I do say because of the shortness of breath, that's one of the symptoms. It's kind of one of those alarms because you always
Yeah.
think it could be heart. So you do need to have some stuff checked out. Have you had your blood pressure checked?
Yes, I do have high blood pressure.
Okay, and even that can affect it.
Is it controlled or?
Yes, I take medicine for it. How controlled it is, I can't tell you.
But,
Yeah.
but I mean, is it controlled? That's the
So
question.
he's not sure. He can't
Oh,
tell
you can't?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, come in. We'll check
Come
it
in,
for
we'll
you.
check your blood pressure,
Yeah.
and
I
we
mean, that's
can
a starting
and we
point.
can do the lab work, and you may have to go see a doctor to get the heart checked out a little bit closer. But,
And we can help you with
yeah,
that,
but
too,
just come
yeah.
by, and we can definitely want to check your blood pressure.
Yeah, the great thing about it too is whenever you go by, the consultation is absolutely free. They'll
Right.
check your blood pressure absolutely free, and your weight and all this. And then of course, if you need some blood work, they can always give you the orders for that.
Yeah, because your symptoms are just like we're talking about. They're actually kind of
Vague.
They're vague, but they're all there. So you got to
Yes,
figure
yes,
out what
ma'am.
could be causing it.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got to figure out what's causing it.
Do you know where they're located?
No, I don't.
Okay. You're familiar with the Gulfport area?
Gulfport?
Yes, sir.
Somewhat.
Okay. Well, if you come off of I-10 to come down Cowan-Lorraine Road, off of Interstate 10, you go across the two bridges, and you get to Pass Road, and then you go right through the light there at Pass Road, and they're going to be down on your left-hand side, right off of on Cowan Road. It's Doctor's Nutrition, big sign right there. You can't miss it.
All righty. I
Okay.
appreciate you. Thank you for
Okay.
coming.
Oh,
Look
thank
forward
you.
to seeing you.
Okay. 896-0713, 800-349-0713 are our phone numbers. It's our new day here for Doctor's Nutrition's live Live Healthy, Be Healthy, and we'll be back in just a minute. And welcome back to our Monday morning now live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live Healthy, Be Healthy with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition, located on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. Deba of Ocean Springs has a question on lupus. Good morning, Deba.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm concerned because I'm been diagnosed with lupus in 1985.
Okay.
Wow.
And what's happened is instead of it getting better, I've had more and more prescriptions added to my list.
Uh-huh.
And I was told that some of the medications by a pharmacist, I shouldn't have been on them that long. And I want to get my life back.
Okay. The first thing we say when you actually have problems like that is, come in, bring any lab work you already have, and let's get you overall healthier. That's the first step. Get overall healthier, make sure your nutrition's right, make sure all your vitamin levels are normal.
Right.
And we deal a lot with some of the autoimmune diseases. I've had one myself, but I don't take any medication because I do enough nutrition. So don't just stop your medications.
No.
Now, if a pharmacist has told you that, pharmacists know the drugs pretty well. I do say that. They're probably they are the specialist on medications. If your doctor's not willing to work with you on what the pharmacist has told you, maybe find another doctor could be one of the things you should do also.
That's true.
But if you want to come to us and let us get your nutrition better and get you overall healthier, I always say you got to make some changes and some lifestyle changes if you're not happy with where your health is. Do you know what I mean? So we got to get you healthier, and that way maybe then you can keep getting worse. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thanks for your call.
Yeah.
One of the things to say about doctors, though, I have 6 different doctors.
Okay.
Ooh.
So that's like trying to determine. Well,
That
which-
could be
And
that
that-
could be an issue.
Right, that might be
Well,
why
a
you're on so
Clover and
much
a
medic.
Clover Pop,
Yeah,
you know.
and maybe finding one that's willing to look at everything together that everybody has prescribed. A lot of times they don't want to do that, but that might be best for your health is to look at all of it together. But the pharmacists do know the drugs very well. I don't know what they've told you, and what, you know,
Yeah.
but they do know the drugs very well.
Yeah, that's their area of expertise, really.
So I would come by and see us, and then we'll, like I said, we'll talk some more, and maybe we'll send you somewhere that might look at everything.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
What I'll do is I'll give you guys a call, and I guess your number will come back up.
It
Oh,
is.
sure. Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
we don't do appointments. It's actually just come in. We're there Monday through Thursday from 10 to 5. Now, we're not there this Thursday. This Thursday, we're actually taking a little vacation.
Yay.
Yeah,
Much
Thursday
needed,
and
but
Monday, we're
little.
actually
Right.
off. We have friends coming in town, so we're going to be off a few days. So Monday through Wednesday, we'll be here this week, and actually Tuesday through Thursday of next week. So just come by anytime during those hours.
Okay.
Thank you, Deba.
Okay.
Thank you, Deba.
And again, if you're coming from the Ocean Springs area along Highway 90, you turn on up Callan Road.
Yeah.
Right.
And go north, and right before you get to Pass Road, they're going to be on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's real easy to
Correct.
see.
Right.
Yeah.
We're
That's
easy to
right.
find.
If
Definitely.
you remember where the old Kmart was in Gulfport on Pass Road,
Mm-hmm.
it's right across the street from the what was the Garden Center
Right.
at Kmart there on Callan Road in Gulfport. And we're talking about fatigue this morning,
Mm-hmm.
896-0713, 800-349-0713. And if you have a question like Deba on a different subject, that's fine.
Yeah, just call in.
They just,
I'm sure she's probably experiencing a lot of
She
fatigue.
probably has
with all
fatigue
that.
also, because
With that, too.
autoimmune diseases are one of the things that people see real fatigue. And when we see on lab work when people have low white blood cell counts, which go a lot with some of the autoimmune diseases, they actually are almost always fatigued. I mean, so
Right.
there's so many different problems that can do that. And the adrenals are probably one of the big things that we see cause fatigue.
Especially when you got a lot of medications involved.
Yeah.
You know, some of them can suppress the adrenal function.
And some of them can also deplete nutrients. The medications can.
Okay. Carol of Gulfport's on the phone with us. Good morning, Carol. Carol, are you there? Hey, how are
Hello?
you? Yes, hello.
Yeah, hi,
You got a
Carol.
question for the doctors?
Yes, I do. They're referring to get a copy of your lab work. My doctor, and I have several also,
Uh-huh.
in our 70s, we get to have a lot of doctors. They send me to an independent lab. The lab does the work, and I say, well, I'd like the results of my test, please. Well, we have to send them to the doctor.
That is
That's
true.
true. Go to the doctor to get the
Yeah,
copies.
you have to go to the doctor to get your copies. And according to
Right,
HIPAA
I
law,
can-
they have to give you results.
You know, because I said to them, I have to call, and they say, well, it's borderline. Well, it's okay. That doesn't tell me anything.
I completely agree.
We
That's why
agree.
if you get your copy, we'll look at it for you. It doesn't cost you a penny if you bring it into us, but you get it from your doctor, because it is true the labs can't give it to you because there's no doctor that's went over it with you. So they don't want, they don't want to give you results and you don't know what it means. So you don't go to the lab, you go to the doctor's office. And if that doctor's office is owned by a hospital, which many around here are, then you have to go to the hospital for the actual copies. But just find out where you have to go to get it. But your doctor's office should be able to tell you that.
But they have to, by law, they have to give you a copy,
Yes.
provide you a copy. Now, they can charge you for the copy, but they have to provide it for
Right.
you.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. I thought there was a law passed a while back that said, that's your property.
Yes. Well, it's your health.
Well, it's your health. Yeah.
And I always think people are always better off if they take control of their own health. And the first thing you got to know is what's the problem. If
Right.
something is borderline, you need to know what it is so you can do something about it. And
Well,
so I do say that's why it is important to get copies. I tell people that every time they get a test done, get a copy of it. And
Anytime we do a test for
we
you,
automatically give people
give
copies.
Oh,
you a
yeah,
copy.
they do.
yeah, I automatically we make 2 copies when they come in, one for us to keep in a file and one to give the patient when they come in. So we always give copies because I think it's important for people to take care of their self, and they got to actually take
They have
control
to
of their
know.
own health.
Right,
Yeah,
they have to
and they
know.
do need to understand it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Carol.
Yes.
But we're talking about fatigue this morning, and our phone lines are open, 896-0713, 800-349-0713. And, we talked about fatigue can be physical or mental.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's just like, you're walking around in a fog all the time. That could be brought on by medication that you're taking. that, or like you said, a
it can.
combination of different medications, some not working in
It can be a
conjunction with
different
each other.
thing, and like I said, it can be. We talked about adrenals, and that's stress. I mean, the adrenal glands
Oh,
are what
stress, big
responds to
thing.
stress, and that
Big
can
thing. But
actually.
Nobody has stress.
Yeah.
No, are you kidding me?
And that is an emotional that causes physical. So it would be a little bit of both.
Right.
Because stress is probably an emotional stress in most people,
But it
then it can
causes
cause
physical
symptoms.
symptoms.
Right, tired.
And
Oh,
if it
yeah.
Angry.
Yeah,
All
exactly.
kinds of physical symptoms.
And if it
Right.
causes that cortisol to go up, your cortisol, that stress hormone, then affects blood sugar. It affects bone density.
Blood
it affects
pressure.
blood pressure. It starts affecting everything. So that's why it's real important to actually have the adrenals checked.
Okay, so again, we were talking this morning about fatigue, or if you have a question of, does not have to deal with fatigue, you can call the doctor. Call in at 896-0713, 800-349-0713, or you can go by and see the doctors. They're located on Cowan Road in Gulfport, south of Pass Road. And we'll go ahead and take a break here and be back for our final segment here on Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy. And welcome back to our now Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy with Dr. Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition. Now, today's show will be rebroadcast on Friday. So if you have questions, you have to call in today because we can't take your calls on Friday.
Well, they can send you an email.
You can do that.
Right.
89, let's see, that's J Tabor at
Yeah.
WLOX.
You have to think about it.
I'm still getting used to this
It's
time.
Monday.
The time change. Yeah,
I know.
jtabor at WLOX.com. And one of the things that we're going to try to do here real soon, and we're trying to work out the schematics in it, and I know our wonderful director, Leaf, and producer, morning producer Lee Field will come up with is put a laptop in here.
Oh,
so
really?
while we're actually on the show, on the air, if you want to email us questions or something like that, you can do
Okay.
that. So
Yeah.
we'll probably
And if
have
you
that
want,
in the future.
Yeah, if you want to now, do it ahead of time, and we'll always have your question on the next
Exactly.
show.
Right.
On the next live show, we'll actually put the question on.
Yeah, if you
So-
think about something after we get off the air that says, oh, I wish I would have called up and asked them about this.
Or if there's a topic that we haven't
Yes.
covered yet, or you
That's-
want to cover,
yeah.
you know.
A topic that you're interested in and we haven't talked about it, because we're always looking for topics. And a lot of times we get our topics by what we hear most. If there is a topic that you want to hear about and we haven't talked about it, just
Matter of fact,
email and
next
tell
week's
him.
topic, we'll go ahead and plug in
Yeah.
now. Next week's
Yeah.
topic is the importance of proper nutrition for children.
Right.
You
And
know.
we decided to do that one because so many people are starting to come in with questions about kids and about nutrition for kids and how important. And there's some research that's come out on how
You're never too
important.
young.
How important.
No, it's right, yeah.
When you're young, your nutrition when you're young affects you when you get older, and at what age you'll get other diseases due to what you did when you were a kid. So it is so important to have your children be healthier when they're young. So
Wow.
that's
Big,
what
big,
next week's show's about.
Big.
Right. And we figure there's a lot of stay-at-home moms watching the show.
Yeah.
So that's what we figured. So next week's kind of for those stay-at-home
And why it's
moms that are
probably
interested
not
in your
good
kids.
to appease the kids and who are wanting to here's a bag of chips.
Yeah.
True.
You know. or-
Because eating junk food could make fatigue. We're talking about fatigue,
Yeah, it's
and
too much- yeah.
actually what people eat can cause fatigue.
Yeah, you brought that
Yeah,
up. You
yeah.
said the fuel, and if you
Mm-hmm.
eat the wrong kind of fuel, because we see an awful lot of that where folks will eat like high carb stuff, sugar, and they feel great for 30 minutes,
Then they
and then
crash.
an hour later they crash and they can't hardly move.
And they're
you know,
tired,
that-
and
yeah.
so that's another reason for fatigue is what you're eating.
Yeah.
I think we have another call.
Another call, yeah.
Oh, okay. Izeria of Biloxi, diabetes, has a question about diabetes and high blood pressure. What can you do to control it?
Diet. Well, we just talked about changing the diet. I mean,
Diet's going to be the very first thing.
very, very first thing.
No matter what kind of diabetes. Now, we're going to have to assume, if she's not on the air, we're going to have to assume it's type 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so that diet is extraordinarily important in, and of course there's other things you can do with it. But if you're starting to see that high blood pressure go along with high blood sugar, you're starting to see some of the end results of high blood sugar.
Right, and
long
even
term.
we've had quite a few type 2 diabetics that when they've come in and we've changed their diet, I had one man that was getting really dizzy and we thought it was his blood sugar too low. Well, it ended up being his blood pressure being too low. So his doctor had to cut his medications. I mean, because
Yeah.
there's no doubt that high blood pressure goes along with the diabetes being uncontrolled. So the first thing to do, I would say, is make lifestyle changes, and it's not diet, because you can't do it for a week or two and then
No.
expect it to change it. It's a lifestyle change,
Yeah,
especially
right.
if you are type 2 diabetic. It's going to be probably forever. So change that lifestyle. And a lot of times it helps both the diabetes and the high blood pressure.
And blood pressure too, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And they have a great diet. It's a low glycemic diet
Yeah.
that
it-
I've got on.
Yep. And you come by
know,
and we'll give you a copy. And another thing that we stress is low glycemic, but also unprocessed foods. And if you get off of processed foods, actually a lot of times that makes a difference in blood pressure because they're loaded with sodium, they're loaded with fillers, and they're loaded with
Sugars.
preservatives and sugars and stuff like that, which all affect blood pressure. I've had people just go to what they call a natural diet, a real food diet, and their blood pressure will be better. So that's something that never hurts to do. So
Right.
that's the first step.
And one of the things that I learned a few years back was all those canned vegetables and stuff that you get. Don't do that.
Get fresh,
Fresh
if
vegetables,
possible.
frozen vegetables if
Yeah.
you can. If you can go to, if you have what you need at the farmers market. We have some great farmers
Right.
markets
We do.
around
Yeah.
the Gulf
Yeah.
Coast area here, Gulfport, Long Beach, Biloxi, Ocean Springs. There's so many of them that have they're different days. I know that. I know a lot of them. D'Iberville's up there several times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesdays
Gulfport
and
has-
Thursdays
yeah.
is Biloxi underneath the I-110
I think
bridge.
Wednesday's
Gulfport's
winning,
Wednesday.
Gulfport.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know Long Beach has one, but yes, in the long run, you're may pay a little bit more. And at the farmers market, actually, you don't because
No, not really.
they're
No, not
really
really.
good prices at
Yeah.
the farmers market.
That's right.
Yes, you're not able to just take the can, open it up, and dump it in a pot. But still, it's a lot better
Yeah,
for you.
real food diet is always better.
It really,
So
really
go
is.
to a
I
real
couldn't
food
tell you
diet.
the last time I had a thing of canned vegetables.
Yeah.
Because it's just,
Fresh is always better.
it really is.
Now our special this week, since I know this is our last segment,
Mm-hmm.
is we're doing a special on Megavites 1, which is
I'm
our,
on those.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
our one-a-day multivitamin. Now a lot of people like the one-a-days, and it's actually got a good amount of B12 and a good amount of vitamin D, and it has CoQ10. So all those tend to help energy and fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we decided to put that one for the week. And then we still have our Vascular Support BP from Friday show on discount for this full week.
Okay.
Since we've switched to Monday show. So it'll be Megavites 1 and the Vascular Support BP from Friday.
And my wife and I both are on the Megabytes one.
Yeah, it's
And,
actually-
they're
it's,
great.
it's a great formula.
They really
because- Yeah.
It
Covers
act-
a lot of bases.
And it even has the methylated form of the folic acid that we talked about last week. So it actually has methylated B12, methylated folic acid, the
Right.
CoQ10, the vitamin D, your zinc, so it does have a lot of stuff in it. So that's a good one.
And we don't want to hear, well, I get my multivitamins at the
Right.
cereal box store.
We won't mention it.
If
but
you
yeah.
actually look, if you look at your vitamins and it actually has dyes, red dye number
Oh, yeah.
3 or yellow dye, or I mean, you probably don't want to take them.
80 or
If they start having things like that in them, you really don't want them because
No.
now ours are not dyed. They'll be all speckly inside the capsule because they're not dyed. I have some people that say these look funny; they're not all the same color. I said, well, exactly. If they're all the same color, then
Yeah,
it means
because
it's
you can go
probably
to the
been
big box
dyed.
store and you can get all your little vitamins and supplements and everything like that. And they're all different pretty colors and all
Green,
that.
Exactly, yeah.
red,
All that, exactly. And
right.
that's, the dyes and stuff in
And
there.
you're not taking them for the
You
pretty
get their
colors.
stuff in there and they're like white,
Yeah.
gray,
Yeah,
nothing
Pinkish.
special.
speckly.
Right.
Speckly, nothing
Yeah.
special, but
That's right.
But they work. That's the
We
great
do
thing
not
about
have
it.
any dyes in any supplements.
No.
And that's awesome. So, but again, I mean, if there's something that you'd like to hear us talk about one morning, please feel free to email me at jtabor@wlox.com, and I'll be glad to pass it along to the doctors, and and we'll put it on an upcoming show. But next week we're going to talk about again the importance of proper nutrition for children,
Yes.
which is a really, really big deal. So
Big deal.
Anyway, they are open from 10 to 5, 10 to 5, Monday through Friday, and from 9 to 2 or 9 to
11 to 2.
11 to 2
on-
on Saturdays.
Okay,
But we're not there except Monday through Thursday.
exactly. But feel free to stop by. You never need an appointment. They'll always be happy to talk to you at Doctor's Nutrition, located on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road, across from the Garden Center of the old Kmart building. And we will see you next Monday.